Welcome to your weekend weather update from the Met Office. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit subscribe. Will the sunny weather continue? Well, mostly yes, but there's always one or two exceptions. Certainly far from sunny across Spain and Portugal, this low pressure bringing more wet and windy weather, but we're more interested in this chunky area of high pressure. That's why the weather is so fine and settled, but with the winds going clockwise around high pressure, it is drawing down the air from the North Sea. So that is going to generate quite a bit of cloud, I suspect, on Saturday morning across these eastern parts. So parts of the Midlands, certainly much of eastern England, eastern Scotland, likely to be pretty dull first thing on Saturday morning. Hint of frost there across parts of Scotland too. So a coolish start, but as we go through the day, that cloud should tend to melt away. Certainly for most inland areas, there is always the threat that some of this low cloud could stick to some of the coasts. Some har and sea fret at times, particularly from Yorkshire northwards and across eastern Scotland. So it may be a little grey on some of these North Sea coasts, but for many it is another day of sparkling spring sunshine. Still a bit of a breeze blowing, but after that chilly start, temperatures will be on the rise. Not as warm as Friday in the south. Likely to see temperatures getting into the maybe high teens, 17, 18 degrees Celsius, but quite a contrast. Well, we've got the breeze coming in from the North Sea. North Sea pretty cold at this time of year. Temperatures may struggle to reach double figures, and particularly if it does stay dull and misty with that har and fret. So quite a contrast in the temperatures. If we compare them to the average for April, you can see that South Wales, southern England, quite a bit above the average for the time of year, whereas that east coast will be below average. And parts of western Scotland you notice in these orange colours. So quite a contrast between east and west, where we see the sunshine, where we've got that breeze coming in from the North Sea. Now, speaking of the breeze, it will make a difference to the feel of the day. So these are the feels like temperatures when you add on that wind. So even though we'll see temperatures in the high teens across the south, because there'll still be a noticeable breeze blowing, it'll feel more like the low teens. Now that breeze will continue as we go through Saturday night and into Sunday. The high pressure is still around, but it does start to shift a little further south. So a subtle shift in the wind direction, rather than coming from the northeast, more coming from the southeast, and that will shift where we see the cloud coming in through the night. So perhaps not as dull to begin with across parts of eastern England, but always like to feed some cloud again into parts of eastern Scotland, maybe across the Northern Isles, which will again burn back to the coast, but still may stick on some coasts. For many though, it's another day of blue sky and lots of sunshine. The wind's a little bit lighter, but cooler air in place, so temperatures probably not as high in the south, 15 or 16 degrees Celsius, but the winds won't be as strong, so those two may well compensate and probably feel pretty similar. But you will notice again some of these North Sea coasts, particularly with that breeze coming into Aberdeenshire, struggling to reach double digits. Further south, perhaps not as cold because the wind won't be quite so brisk, but generally plenty of sunshine on offer through the course of this weekend. UV levels are creeping up, so take note of that. You may need the sunscreen on this weekend, and temperatures may well creep up as we go into next week, which for many schools is the first week of the Easter holidays. For day-to-day details, don't forget to follow us across social media. As I said at the start, if you're watching on YouTube, why not hit subscribe?